promoting it. You know, it's just doesn't bother me.
There's compromising the sport. That's like bad.
I am seeing reports online that Jake Paul might be fighting Francis Ngannou, which is just absolutely bloody ridiculous.
Jake Paul, Gervonta Tank Davis, the fight is in jeopardy, and it's for a reason that I think you all could believe, but maybe can't believe is happening.
Joe Rogan is shocked to learn that the Jake Paul vs. Gervonta Tank Davis Netflix stream may not go as planned. What began as yet another high-profile boxing payout has abruptly descended into social media firestorms and legal trouble.
If you know the situation, it was supposed to be boxing Gervonta Tank Davis, a man that weighs 133 pounds or 135. Regardless, it's a man that is way smaller than Jake Paul. So that is just ridiculous, and I've given my thoughts on that before anyway. But now it turns out that Gervonta Davis has some allegations about domestic abuse. I don't know too much about the situation, but apparently Netflix have pulled.
According to reports, Gervonta Davis is currently dealing with new legal issues, including a civil lawsuit from a former partner alleging significant occurrences. Additionally, the news has seriously jeopardized his highly anticipated display with Jake Paul in November. Numerous media sites are drawing attention to the lawsuit, Tank's possible arrest, and new accusations that surface at the end of October.
I don't know nothing. And don't take my advice.
I love the Saudis.
Don't take my opinion.
I love the Israeli government. I love
That
everybody.
had nothing to do with them. That was Jake Paul promoting it. You know, it's just doesn't bother me.
There's compromising the sport, and that's like bad. It's just like
If I bet on it, it
watching
bothers
it,
the fuck out of me.
watching it with people who are so in on it, and then also man, the sports betting apps, they introduced like chat apps in them in Australia, so it's like they're trying to take the place of social media companies where you go together and you meet your friends. Like betting should be exciting enough without having a weird.
They're just trying to draw you
parasocial
in.
thing.
They're just trying to make money, right? So they're trying to.
Davis says disorganized legal history has made news again. Earlier this year, he was detained in South Florida on suspicion of petty violence. Previous instances have vacillated between dropped charges and plea deals, according to a widely reported story at the time. This latest legal cloud feels so dangerous to both promoters and fans because of those previous occurrences.
Seeing reports online that Jake Paul might be fighting Francis Ngannou, which is just absolutely bloody.
The combat is being postponed, Dame Margaret said on X, adding, "Update. It's being postponed. I've heard. I'm roughly 80% positive that the November 14th event is cancelled, but I'm not sure of the exact date." According to the update, the organizers are probably moving the battle to a later date in order to provide more seamless preparations and a more robust build-up to the event. A significant amount of money has been spent on advertisements, interviews, and social media efforts to promote the Jake Paul vs. Gervonta Davis fight. The build-up is large and ostentatious, demonstrating the organizers' seriousness in making it a big event. Despite the intense promotion, ticket sales are still disappointingly low because people don't seem interested in this fight. According to numerous reports, the lack of fan excitement and low sales have raised questions about whether the fight will actually take place, and there is growing talk that it may be cancelled or rescheduled for a later time.
And when this fight first got announced, I told y'all, the promo, when they start promoting it, it is going to be fire. The promo will be better than the fight, right? Because obviously, I don't like the fight. I'm not a fan of the fight. I cannot stand the decision for Tank to go in this direction, although I understand it, right? I understand it because I understand the business behind it. So I get all of that. But the promo is fire. If you go watch it, the way that it is shot, the production of it looks very top of the line, top shelf, as you would expect from a company as big as Netflix, which is a $530 billion company. So they have the budget, they have the money to make sure their production is A1. Obviously, as a Tank Davis fan, paying attention to him in the promo, the young man looks in good spirits. He looks like he's in a good headspace, and he doesn't look like he's unhappy to be there, which bodes well for the prospects of him continuing his boxing career, I guess, not retiring. And I think that as he gets closer to the fight, as the fight happens, he'll be in his happy place. And I expect for Tank fans, for boxing fans, to get really good news after Tank Davis and Jake Paul share the ring and they do the post-fight press conference. I think that a lot of people will probably be happy with the outcome of what Tank Davis has to say after that fight. But the promo is fire. It's just a trailer. It's up on the Netflix YouTube channel. Go check it out if you haven't already. Really enjoyed watching that promo. Watched it a couple of times. And as I said, I'm paying attention to the press conferences. I'm paying attention to the build-up because I feel like there's a chance that could be more entertaining than the actual fight.
Both fans and commentators are questioning Jake Paul's decision to face Gervonta Davis, as the matchup seems unnecessary and hasn't sparked real excitement. Despite heavy promotion, public interest and ticket sales remain low. Many believe the fight offers little for either boxer, and Jake's usual formula of bold promotions appears to be losing impact, with the event seen more as a publicity move than genuine competition.
Pack it up. It's over with. Because the fight makes no sense. It doesn't even make sense for Jake. For all the things Jake's talking about doing, it makes no sense for him. Again, money, sure. If it makes dollars make sense, okay, fine. But I want to see Jake in competitive matchups where I am interested in the outcome. I'm not interested in this. I'm not interested in the outcome of this. I was interested in Floyd versus Logan because there was an idea that Floyd was a little slower, a little older, and Logan would be able to knock him out. If Jake knocks Tank out, so what? What does that do for him? Because he said he could beat Canelo. He said he could beat Anthony Joshua. This one to me, like, I've gotten on board with a lot of Jake fights because they've made sense, right? To me, they've made sense. Even Julio Cesar Chavez, after he's already beaten the guy that beat Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., beat Anderson Silva, a couple of years back now, this one still kind of makes sense because you're getting maybe a better version of Chavez, and he's around the same weight now. When you talk about the Tank fight, I don't understand it. I don't understand it. But let's take a look at what he said to Ariel Helwani and see how he explains this fight.
Was the next one Tank?
Yeah, I mean, that was on the 1 yard line as well, but he has to rematch, Lamont Roach. He wants to get...
Fans have also questioned the battle rules. Both boxers must wear 12-ounce gloves, and the match has been confirmed as an exhibition bout with a maximum weight of 195 pounds. The fight appears more like a performance than a meaningful competition because of these circumstances. Many spectators perceive it as a marketing gimmick intended to draw in casual viewers rather than devoted boxing enthusiasts. Although most commentators think the regulations were changed to make the bout safer because of the significant weight disparity between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul, the battle still doesn't seem fair or significant in a sporting sense.
Tank Davis press conference just went down, and the official rules for the fight have also been announced. So the fight will take place at 195 pounds, 60 pounds higher than Tank normally fights at lightweight, and lower than what Jake has been fighting at cruiserweight and heavyweight. The fight will also be 10 rounds and 3-minute rounds each. So exhibitions are usually 2-minute rounds, but this will be 3-minute rounds like a pro fight. And 10 rounds is almost as long as a championship fight. They'll have 12-ounce gloves, so 2 ounces larger than usual. And there'll be 3 judges ringside to decide the winner. So unlike normal exhibitions where there's no winner, if this fight does go to decision, they will have scorecards to decide who wins. Now in the press conference, Tank was asked why he's taking this fight and not the Lamont Roach rematch. And he said he's doing what's best for him and his family. The media always switch up on him after one fight, and this is what he wants to do. He also said that Jake is a decent fighter, but taller fighters struggle with shorter fighters. And he's going to frustrate Jake, and after a couple of rounds, everyone knows what's going to happen. Now Jake, he promised to knock Tank out. He said that Tank has holes in his defense, gets frustrated, and we saw what a 135-pound Roach did to him, so he's going to knock him out. Jake also said that he still wants Canelo even though he lost to Crawford. And he said after he gets through Tank, Canelo's going to be on his list. And to face off with a noticeable size difference, but that was the first press conference. And I'm glad there's going to be a winner, because I do think
Fans have similar opinions about Gervonta Davis. His choice to enter this fight has angered many of his supporters. They anticipated that he would concentrate on strong opponents in his weight class rather than crossover fights that appear to be solely for financial gain. Nevertheless, Gervonta has made it apparent that he no longer gives a damn about what other people think. Davis' close friend Leonard Ellaby has said that Tank wasn't mentally prepared to take on Lamont Roach at the moment. This statement adds another level of complexity to the narrative by implying that Davis may be accepting the exhibition match against Jake Paul in part as a diversion from the high expectations associated with regular title fights. If accurate, it clarifies his decision to pursue something less demanding but more lucrative, particularly in light of the recent stress has been under on both a personal and professional level.
Ellaby
said, to tell you the truth, Gervonta Davis couldn't get up for Lamont Roach. And what does that mean? It means that he could not get inspired, that he was not motivated to fight Lamont Roach, that his mind was not in a place where it was like, yeah, okay, let's get it, and he was going to war with Lamont Roach. He was going through the motions with Lamont Roach during the training camp and could never really get himself motivated to really get the best of himself against Lamont Roach, and that probably affected him during training and during the fight. And that is something that can happen, especially if you really look back on what happened with the Lamont Roach fight and all of the ups and downs about that fight being made. Because first, if you recall, he wasn't supposed to be fighting Lamont Roach. The person he was supposed to be fighting was Vasily Lomachenko. You know, the guy that everybody says that he doesn't want to fight, that he didn't want to fight. Gervonta Davis was up and prepared to fight Vasily Lomachenko. So it shouldn't surprise anybody that if he tries to make a fight with Vasily Lomachenko, that fight doesn't go through. Then he tries to make a fight with Lamont Roach. He can't get the fight done for Houston with Lamont Roach because there was all kind of venue problems and drama going on around Gervonta getting a venue in Houston. So they wind up eventually moving the fight to New York City and pushing it back even further. So not only is it a fight where he didn't just jump out of from his last fight that he had and jump into a fight with Lamont Roach, he got held up. And then also during that period of time, he had to spend some time in jail for a parole violation after them. Well, I believe that might...
Many believe Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul are fighting mainly for money, not legacy. Davis says focus on financial security suggests a shift toward marketable, high-paying bouts, making the Jake Paul fight more about exposure and profit than true competition.
Why is he fighting YouTube sensation turned professional boxer Jake Paul, who has 12 wins, 1 loss, no draws, 7 wins by way of knockout, opposed to fighting against the likes of his peers who are well accomplished and superstars in their own right for legacy fights like Shakur Stevenson, like Teofimo Lopez, like Devin Haney. Why he's not interested in those fights. And he gets real, right? He gets real. And
how Tank started acting after he made 40 million with Ryan. When he make another 40 plus million with Jake,
he's gonna go make 40 million fighting Jake Paul, and then he's gonna come back and fight Lamont Roach for what? He's gonna come back and fight Shakur Stevenson for what? He's not gonna fight none of those guys.
No, the only way he fight any of them guys, Turkey gonna have to hit him with the crop money. Cause that's the thing. You do this for a reason, bro. Like, I get it. You want him to be competitive, but his goal is money. He made 40 with Ryan plus everything in between. Now he get this 40, 50 million plus. He don't even gotta fight no more. So now if you want him to fight Shakur, give me that.
Jake Paul seems to have comparable motivations. Jake has embraced boxing since his debut to build his brand and demonstrate that he is more than just an online sensation. However, the decision to take on Davis, who is considerably smaller and more seasoned, begs the issue of what he truly hopes to accomplish. Since most people assume he has a natural size advantage, winning such a bout would not be very noteworthy. On the other hand, losing might gravely harm his reputation as a fierce, courageous warrior. For this reason, a lot of people think that Jake Paul will be more at risk than rewarded in this bout.
Jake Paul will be taking on Tank Davis in an exhibition on November 15th in Atlanta, Georgia, live on Netflix. And this is crazy for multiple reasons. One, they have a huge size difference. Tank Davis, he's a lightweight, normally fights at 135 pounds. And Jake Paul, he's a cruiserweight, usually fights at 200 pounds. So there's a good 60 to 65 pound difference here. It could also mean that Tank Davis is no longer interested in competing for titles anymore and is cashing out of boxing. You know, there's been a lot of talks that Tank is nearing retirement this year. And he was supposed to rematch Lamont Roach after their first fight went to a draw. But instead of chasing the Roach rematch, instead he takes the Jake Paul fight for money. So maybe this is Tank's last, or one of his last fights. And same for Jake Paul. He just got ranked number 14 at cruiserweight after beating Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. So he's supposed to be fighting other ranked contenders or top guys at cruiserweight. But instead, he's taking a money fight. But I do expect these two to go after each other. Even though it is an exhibition, I don't think it'll just be some boring sparring match. I do think they'll try a decent amount. But Tank, obviously, is a lot more skilled. Jake has a lot more size. But you guys let me know.
The debate surrounding this incident also draws attention to a more significant problem in contemporary boxing: the increase in odd pairings. Experts and fans have observed that the sport is becoming more and more dominated by fights intended to make headlines rather than leave a lasting impact. Influencer fights, exhibition events, and crossover matchups are increasingly prevalent. Another example of how corporate decisions frequently take precedence over genuine competition is a planned confrontation between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul. Although these kinds of incidents garner attention on the internet, the boxing community rarely takes a long-term interest in or respect for them.
And there'll be people out there saying, oh, Carl Froch's talking about himself, he's after a payday. Listen, I'm not after a payday. I'm doing all right. There's no problems with my finances. But I'll take the fucking payday, of course I will. And I'll end Jake Paul with one punch. I'd go in there one-armed and beat this guy. He can't box. He's absolutely fucking useless, which we saw last night with Mike Tyson. Talking about Canelo Alvarez. I've not mentioned Canelo Alvarez. It's just laughable. Jake Paul, Canelo Alvarez, can you imagine? I mean, Jake Paul fancies that and he jumps in the ring with him. I will pay homage to him because fair play, if he jumps in there with Canelo Alvarez, he'll get absolutely fucking destroyed and it will be fast and it will be messy and it will be bad.
Former champion Carl Froch recently stated that Jake Paul's boxing career is driven more by money and fame than true ambition. He believed Jake focuses on going viral rather than improving as a boxer, echoing concerns that boxing is turning into entertainment over discipline. Froch's remarks add to the ongoing debate about social media influencers entering professional boxing. The Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis fight highlights this divide, promising spectacle but offering little substance, showing how boxing now balances sport and showmanship. That concludes the video for today. Keep an eye out. Until the next